Hi, welcome back once again, and I hope you're doing great during these hard times and staying safe at home. Today we're going to be building a new powerful video editing PC for all your video editing needs for just about $1,700. Yes, it might be a bit expensive for some of you, but luckily you can swap some of the main components such as CPU, video card, or other major components to save some money there. But if you're looking for an even more powerful option, you can always go a bit expensive on the main components such as CPU or video card to get some extra power. For all the parts and components in this video, there's going to be a link in the description where you can visit if you're interested. Also, I'm going to include a link where you can add parts and it will automatically match the parts for you. For me, this was the first PC that I ever built and it was a great experience, and I hope you learned something from it. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. So without any further talk, let's just get into the video and start with the motherboard. For the motherboard, I chose to go with MSI X570 Wi-Fi enabled. The MPG X570 Gaming Plus motherboard supports 2nd and 3rd generation Ryzen CPUs. Also, it can go up to 128 gigabytes of memory. On the motherboard, you can find 2x M.2 connectors. In this box, you have the actual motherboard and some cables for RGB, USB, and Wi-Fi connection, and some manuals. For CPU, there's a constant battle between AMD and Intel, and you can debate that one is better than the other, but for me, I personally chose AMD because you get the best bang for your buck. The AMD Ryzen 7 3800X 3.9 GHz offers 8-core processor, and again, depending on your budget, you can go lower to Ryzen 5 or higher to Ryzen 9. It has 4.5 GHz max boost unlocked for overclocking. If you're playing games on the CPU, they would probably think you're cheating because it's so fast. So in the box you have the CPU, the cooler, the RGB cable, and the USB. With this CPU, you're going to be able to edit anything fast. To install the CPU, look for a little arrow or a dot on your CPU and then on your motherboard. They have to align perfectly. Unclip the placeholder and place your CPU in that same exact order. Unclip it back on and make sure it's safely secured. For RAM, I went with Corsair Vengeance, 2x 16 gigabytes for a total of 32 gigabytes, which is more than enough for what I need right now. But I could always upgrade to 64 or even more, depending on my needs in the future. Vengeance LPX memory is designed for high-performance overclocking. The heat spreader is made of aluminum for faster heat dissipation, and the custom performance PCB helps manage heat and provide superior overclocking headroom. Each IC is individually screened for peak performance potential. To install the memory, you simply have to look at the labels on your motherboard. I made the mistake of not putting it in the right place and I paid the price to remove and put it back. So check for the label and find the right slots to input the RAM. Open the little brackets and align the dent inside your RAM with the dent on your motherboard, and then place it firmly until you hear a click. And that's when your RAM is secured on the motherboard. As far as our main storage goes, I got a 1TB Samsung M.2 SSD card. With that, we have enough space for all the softwares and tools that we need to play with. The Samsung 970 EVO delivers amazing speeds. 1TB of storage included in such a small SSD card, thanks to the M.2 technology. To install the SSD card, find the M.2 slot on your motherboard. Make sure to have a magnetic screwdriver, since you don't want to make the same mistake as I did to drop the little screw inside your motherboard. Then secure it in place with the screw provided inside the motherboard box. The CPU that we bought comes with a CPU cooler included, and that's good enough for what we're trying to do here. But if you're upgrading to different components, I suggest you get a more powerful CPU cooler. For this CPU cooler though, the installation is a little bit tricky. To install the CPU cooler, find the little clips on the side and make sure they are connected properly. Otherwise you would make the same mistake as I did and lift the cooler up, which resulted in some paste left over on the CPU, which is okay because it wasn't dry. After you've adjusted the clips, turn the handle to secure the cooler onto the CPU, and then connect your cooler onto the motherboard. Once you have that connected, connect the USB cable to your cooler and then onto the motherboard. Similarly, connect the RGB cable to your cooler and then to your motherboard, and you're all done. For the case, I went with Fractal Design, where they design solid and beautiful cases. In this case, the front is a meshy design, and to be honest, it looks great. And on the side, you have a tempered glass that allows you to see your hard work inside the machine. The Fractal Design Meshify C has a see-through side panel for you to be able to see all the components inside your computer. To open up the side panel, simply unscrew the 4 screws. Here we're going to screw in the standoffs that is going to separate the motherboard from the case, which allows the air to flow easily. Once that's done, place the motherboard inside the case, move it around until it fits naturally, then use the provided screws to tighten the motherboard to the case, and you're done. The motherboard is secured to your case. To power up this machine with a power supply, we went with Corsair RM750, which is more than enough for what we need for this machine to function. Well, we went with a higher number here just because maybe one day we're gonna upgrade some parts in this machine. Better be safe than sorry. The Corsair RM750 is a fully modular power supply. Tuned for low noise operation, a 140mm rifle bearing fan with a specially calculated fan curve ensures that fan noise is kept to minimum even at full load. Inside the box you obviously have your Corsair RM750 with an instruction manual and some ziplocs for cable management, and of course all the wires necessary to connect your power supply to your motherboard. Each of these components have their unique wire to connect to the motherboard. We're gonna start here by connecting the motherboard itself to the power supply, connect the CPU cable to the motherboard and then to the power supply. Here we're gonna connect all the necessary wires from the case itself, such as USB, headphone jack, microphone jack, to the motherboard. And last but not least, for the video card, I chose to go with EVGA GeForce RTX 2060 Super 8GB. That's a mouthful to say. FGA GeForce RTX 20 series graphics cards are powered by the all-new NVIDIA Turning architecture to give you incredible new levels of gaming realism. Even though we're using this for video editing, it also gives you speed, power efficiency, and immersion. With the FGA GeForce RTX 20 series gaming card, you get the best gaming experience with the next generation graphics performance. Now to install the video card, simply remove 2 of the slots of the back plate. In this case, I removed the wrong one, so I had to put it back and remove the 3rd slot. Now that I have removed the right slots, I can secure the video card inside the case, and once I hear the click, this is where I know the video card is securely in place. Once that's done, you can plug in the wires necessary that goes from the GPU to your power supply. Make sure to correctly plug in the right wire into the right input. Once that's done, plug in all the necessary cables to your power supply and lock it into place. And secure it into place with the screws provided inside your power supply box. And there you have it. Now you can close in the tempered glass cover and secure it in place with the twisting screws and remove that ASMR sheet of plastic. Feels good. All you have left to do is plug it in. You can now turn it on and hopefully it'll function. Oh, and it does function. Would you look at that? Nice looking RGBs for a cool finish. Well, there you have it. This is the first PC I ever built, and to be honest, it's powerful and it does what I need to do as far as video editing goes. I hope you learned something from this video, and don't forget all the links are in the description in case you're interested to build a similar PC. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.